conference will now be recorded.
Mm, Thank you for that. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. I know it's a Sunday evening, and I really appreciate that you guys took time to attend the demo for Python for DevOps specifically. And in the next 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, I'm trying to keep it smaller, but I'll try to keep it. But I also want to showcase you a lot of things. So we'll be seeing a lot of things, why Python is important, what does Python do, how do I teach, what do I teach, what am I, and stuff like that. So the last piece is going to be very important, and that's my last demo for the day. That is where I show how you're going to integrate Python with AI, and especially why Python is so important to work with AI at work. So I've seen a lot of people ask this question that how can we integrate, why do we even need Python or any coding language when AI is there? So I'm going to answer such questions as well while during the session. Just one quick ground rule. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask. Feel free to put it in the chat. I'll be going to the Q&A towards the end, and I can answer those towards the end. And I will also keep looking at the chat in the middle, and if I see a question where I can answer right away, I will definitely answer that. All right, so let's quickly go ahead and dive in. Again, thank you very much, especially those who are joining now. I know it's late Sunday evening, but we tried to find a better time and it wasn't possible. So I appreciate you guys joining at this time. Quick intros. So my name is Ankit, and I will be the trainer for Python plus AI course for DevOps professionals. And about me, I have 20 plus years of experience, and I'm currently based out of US in Boston in the Eastern time zone. So it's actually Sunday morning for me. And I have rich experience in coding and I should say every aspect of software development lifecycle. I started as a fresher, as a developer in C, C++, and from there I've transferred into multiple roles. And I think that's one of the USPs I have because I get the whole picture end to end. I did QA, I did automation, I did architecting. I'm currently a senior architect, and I also did. We also do a bit of DevOps at work, so I have the full end-to-end picture, like how everything works in real lifetime. And I worked at multiple customers, which are customers now, big companies who pay for or rather I should say, who give a lot of big services. So it gives me a good design networking kind of an experience profile. And regarding the trainings, I've done multiple trainings, even for Mithun Technologies in the past. And just recently in December too, we had a batch. And this is, I don't even know what batch it is, but we've been doing this for a long time. And I can go in long detail, but I just want to keep it short because I want to spend more time on the demos today. So, what is Python? Why learn it, right? Again, I'm not going to go in very detail, but I'm sure everybody knows what is Python. And even if I answer why learn it, I want to first take the biggest, like they say, the big elephant in the room, that coding in this era of AI, why Python, right? When you can ask ChatGPT or any code pilot or any LLM to write code for you, and that is correct. But the 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 best part about that question is that it itself has an inbuilt answer. Why do you think you need even AI to write code for you? Because there's a need for coding as a skill, and that is never going to go away. And again, when I say coding, I'm not talking about only software developer roles. I'm talking about in general DevOps people, QA automation, QA architects, and there are so many different streams, DevOps people who have to write scripts, for example, which is also called as code. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the big companies specifically have already transitioned from manual QA roles. In fact, there is no QA role anymore. They call it SDET, Software Development Engineering Test. So, coding is the most important skill if you want to survive in IT today. I'm not saying the other skills are not important, but this is one of the most important skills. And why is Python the obvious choice? It's very simple because it's the easiest. And secondly, it's used everywhere. And that is why it's called a general purpose language. It is just not called an object-oriented programming language or Python or a procedural-based language, but it is also called a general-purpose language because it is literally the remote control of the future, as I like to say, especially in this era of AI. Now, there's a fun fact here. Everything, whether it is ChatGPT, self-driving cars, NASA, Tesla, whatever you name, there are devices around you which are running on Python. We don't even know those, but that's a fact. So if we are learning Python today, then we are learning the language of AI, which is why I said it's the key to the remote control to the future. And that's why everyone needs one skill, at least one skill, which is called Python in their resume. And that is the most important reason why we should learn Python. Now, again, there are other aspects like why learn through you. I have ChatGPT. What is the value add in this? There are multiple courses, Udemy, YouTube, GPT, and there are so many places. And that is absolutely correct. There are a lot of resources where you can learn Python from, right? But I want to talk about those for the next 5 minutes. So my role is that, and this is where I come from, and also I forgot to mention about my intro. So I do a lot of interviews for my company. I've been doing it for a long time. So I understand that gap that when a person comes for the interview, there are two possibilities. One, the person doesn't know the actual issue, which is also very important because sometimes they know the language, they know the things, but they're not able to understand what the interviewer is asking. So that is one very important skill that you learn in this. And second, the most important one, most people are able to, uh, I would say not most, some of the people are able to write the code, but they're not able to explain it the way it should be explained. So these two gaps are very important that I've seen over the years when I interview people. And that's why this is completely based out of my experience and the friends who work in FANG. I have friends who work in almost every big company. So I have seen that the ratio to hire is very, very less. Just to explain it in very simple terms, it's like how many applicants reach out to our HR person versus how much actually get the job. It's very, very less. And these are the two prime areas because there are other candidates who don't even know much details and those are already shortlisted because mine is generally the gating interview, the final interview. So I come up with those experiences which I guarantee you can't get from any Udemy, YouTube, or even GPT. GPT is a very good tool for learning things, but again, it cannot do everything. Like I always say, even in my other sessions. The other important aspect of the USP that you get is FANG level interview prep. So, what is most important in that, other than the two things that I just mentioned, is code optimization. Most people don't give too much emphasis on that. And that is something which no Udemy, YouTube, anybody can teach you because that needs a lot of experience, that needs a lot of dedication to get to that level. So that is very, very important. Again, the way you answer the question, the actual understanding of the question itself, what the interviewer is trying to ask you, and code optimization. These are some things which are the most important skills, especially if you want to get through FANG. And for those people who are wondering, FANG is all the big companies, the Facebook or Meta or Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix. Um, Nowadays, there are actually more Tesla, so many companies, right? But they just call them as FANG. So and they have very, very challenging interview questions. And when you'll enroll, you'll see in the class, we start from very basics because I thoroughly believe in understanding basics very, very well. And then from there, I take you through these complex situations and complex coding programs. So, for example, I'm sure everybody here has heard about Lambda, right? And people get scared with Lambda. And if you go to any course today, at least that's what I have seen, they just explain lambda in like 2 minutes or 5 minutes in a very easy way, and that is good because first you have to understand the concept, but nobody takes you through the detailed view of lambda where you actually see the most important aspect of lambda. Why is lambda so important? Why is it used in almost every code that these big company software engineers write? There is a reason behind it, and all that ties back to code optimization, right? And for that, you have to understand object oriented very well. And when we start, so again, that is one of the questions we get asked every time. This is a course where you don't have to have any prior experience, not even coding experience, forget about just Python. I'll be teaching you from the basics itself. But we will be drilling down into very challenging concepts. Lambdas, map, filter, reduce. You won't even find those on the contents that would have been shared by you already. And if not, please ask Mithun Technologies, they will share it with you. Then the other advantage you get is the one is to one assessments. What does that mean? So I obviously give you a lot of assignments, and I ask, that's my rule, that nobody pastes the answer in the group. The reason for that is some people might still be doing it, or some people might use the weekend to do it. So I want you guys to reach out to me directly, so you get direct access to me. And then that's how we build our your portfolio kind of a thing, where I give you a live feedback that, okay, this is something that is missing in your code, or this is something you could have done better in the code. So at during this 1.5 month when we do the course, treat me as your chat GPT. Don't use actual chat GPT or Google for this, but treat me as that. And I'm fine if you ask me even basic questions. I never judge anybody for that. Even if you ask me how to spell Python, I'll do that for you. And another very important aspect is my classes are very, very interactive. I really ask you guys to unmute and ask the question when we are in the class. And if you guys don't ask the question, I make sure I ask the question so that you guys talk to me. And that also gives you the advantage that you are, at least some people have that hitch of talking in front of people. And that's why this is important, very important for the interviews. You will get away with that hitch when you start talking in the group, and you will see other people also doing the same thing. So these are some of the reasons why you should learn Python with us, and not just why learn Python. So again, I already answered about this, developers, non-developers. The versatility of Python is, it, like I was saying, it from NASA to everywhere, from NASA to Tesla, it's almost everywhere. So a very simple example is, I'm sure everybody has used either Alexa or Google Home or Siri on their phone, the basically the assistants, the IoT assistants. And most people don't even realize that whole code was built on Python's TTS, text to speech module. It's a framework in Python. So, like I said, we have been using Python for ages. We just don't realize we do. Now is the time to embrace it, learn it ourselves, and get into automation. And when I say automation, I'm not just talking about automation at work or DevOps or QA role or anything in particular. I saw somebody raise the hand. I'll come back to it. Just let me finish the thought. But yes, you can do your own work that you can optimize a lot. For example, websites. So Python is used to create websites. My own company's website I have created using Python. A lot of code in Python. We used to do Django with Mithun Technologies also earlier, which is used for that. But now we're solely doing a DevOps program where I will be showing you the demo of that as well. We only talk about DevOps tools. Then there are so many robots, talk bots. I have multiple trading bots for me, chat bots for me that do the job. So again, point being, you have, once you understand Python, you can use it in so many different ways you don't even realize, because you're going to save a lot of time. Automation is the number one key. The whole process my company follows, that I have built a lot of things in there, is completely using a lot of AI, agentic AI bots, I should say. So everywhere, chatbots, websites, like I said, TTS, Google, Apple devices, everywhere Python is like the backbone sitting there without even knowing about it. Now, does that mean, Ankit, I'm going to learn everything in this course? That's not possible, right? Python has zillion frameworks. So what you learn is, you learn the basics, the advanced concepts, and I think this would be a good time to show me the contents. Again, these contents would be shared already by your admin or whoever you reached out to from Mithun Technologies. If not, please ask them. They will send it to you. So, like I said, we always start with very basic stuff. I spend good amount of time here because I want people to make the foundation very solid. And then, if this is solid, you will only then understand this part, which is object-oriented programming. And object-oriented programming is what you actually need when you start working in any framework, in AI, in any domain, not just AI and not just DevOps, any domain. Even if you have to write a small program, let's say you're automating your own job. For example, I do that whenever I'm doing stocks and research for my own self. I constantly see, okay, I'm going to these many websites, so why not just automate it? So now I just double click a Python program. It opens all those websites for me in a click. Of course, you can do that from bookmarks as well, but again, this just makes it more easier for me. I just have to click one particular file. Then there's a Python function, sorry, a Python file that is running, and if time permits towards the end, because this is not a part of the demo, I'm just telling you extra stuff. That what I do is I get data for every big stock that I'm following, like 10 of those, the big Mac 7s and stuff, Google Apples again. And I just simply run it every hour just to see one simple thing: has any one of the mega stocks jumped out of for some reason, like into a big volume. That gives me a good idea. Okay, this company is this stock is doing really good today, and that starts. Also, there's another script which goes at every morning before the market opens and stuff like that. Again, these are the use cases that you can build. I have had so many students, and some from Mithun Technology itself, who have used and learned Python and used it in so many different ways. I don't even thought about. I didn't even thought about it. In fact, this stock idea came from one of a very old student who started with us earlier. He was not from Mithun Technologies, but still he was a part of the same Python batch. So the choices are endless. It's how and where you want to implement it. And the reason I said all this is because that gives you one very important edge when you finish this course, that you can actually go ahead and start, if you're working professional, of course, you can go ahead and start implementing the things at your work differently. You can propose that, hey, I would like to do this using Python, I would like to do this using this framework, and we can save some time for engineers, we can save some money for the companies. And that's how you can expect to advance in this era of AI. Because everybody thinks now AI is taking my job. So AI is not really taking a job, it's just making us work harder to keep our job. That's how I see it. And that's actually better for us, because now we want to make sure we learn with the technology, with the new advancements that are coming, and we are always embraced with it. So I always tell this when I do my trainings as well, at work and every other place, that treat AI as a fresher right out of the college for you. He's like an intern who's working with you for your help. Treat them like that. Once you train the fresher, we all know, if you've worked in a company and you have had freshers, unless you're yourself a fresher, that's a different thing. But if you've done that in a company, then you know this fresher generally knows coding more better than you. Generally knows, for example, Git commands more better than you. But if you train them, they the real fear is that they can actually surpass you. But here, that's the best part. You train this fresher, you train this intern with you, and you then make use of him at work. And most of the companies have already started giving access to all the LLMs, ChatGPT, and stuff. So there's your advantage, that you can use that. And that's why my second demo, if you stay till the end, is really important, because I'll show you how companies really want us to use AI. That is again a very big problem, very big gap. Most people think you are supposed to give correct prompts to ChatGPT, so that, or ChatGPT is just an example, any LLM that you have in your company, so that it makes your life easier. But that is where the biggest problem is, that anybody can do. Why would they need software engineers for that, right? So we need to think first and then make use of AI as per our projects, especially when we're working in the company. That is the most important thing. So before I go there, real quick, so this will be our capstone project, which is what I'm going to demo in about next 5 minutes, which is completely based on DevOps sort of a thing, where I will show you a web scraper. We'll use a framework called Flask. And of course, there's a lot more than that. You'll see pandas, you'll see how do we scrape, how do we use Flask with this. The most important part for QA folks and DevOps folks is PyTest. So PyTest is one of the many frameworks that Python has, which makes the life of DevOps people very, very easy, because you can simply use this and you can show that your code is passing or your test cases are passing. So PyTest is a framework which basically lets you write test cases and execute them, and it automatically takes care of everything. Like if your test fails somewhere, it will highlight it. If it doesn't, and I'm going to show you this in the demo as well. If it doesn't, then it will mark it as nice green with a nice small utility saying how many tests you executed and how many passed. So you don't have to do that later, and you can just simply take it as a screenshot, or excuse me, you can just pass it to the email if you have to send those results to anybody. So that's why PyTest being one of those frameworks is very, very widely used. That's why I particularly chose that framework. And then, of course, this part is extra where it's less Python but more DevOps stuff, which I'm integrating just to showcase something that you can do, and then at the end you can put this in your GitHub. And I also expect you to enhance this code so that when you put this in your GitHub, you realize the importance of it. People start looking at you. I don't know most people if they know this or not, but nowadays recruiters don't even look at your resume, don't even look at your Instagram. Oh, sorry, don't even look at your LinkedIn and other websites. They actually there's a term called Git sourcing. They look at your GitHubs. So you have to be very, very careful, and you have to put a lot of your projects there, because that's how you get more visibility. And especially if you want to get hired by big companies like Fang. So we learn all of that, and that's why I integrate the CI/CD pipeline in this, wherein if you just make a small change, and I expect you to do that after I give you this code, that you go ahead and enhance this because you would have learned the whole course by then, and put it in your GitHub. And then there's another demo which I have not written here because that's more on the AI piece, which I'll show you a little later. These are all my past feedbacks, and if you want to look at the exact screenshots, you can go to this website. That's my website actually, and you can take a look from it. Again, this should be shared by somebody from Mithun Technologies. If not, please ask them. They will share it to you. All right. Any questions so far? Please feel free to unmute and ask. Okay, that's good. So I'm just gonna skip this. Yeah, go ahead, Vinod.
Hi, Vinay. Hi, Rick.
Yeah.
I want to know about this course. About you have just said that it's a Python for the DevOps. Okay, currently
Mm-hmm.
I'm working as a technical lead in data science right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that whatever the content you have just shown that there's a course contents. Is it helpful
Mm-hmm.
for me to apply those concepts in my current data science projects?
Absolutely. So data science is my favorite topic, man. AI ML is very, very important in today's world. So you're my kind of guy. But anyways, let me first
Yeah.
answer your question.
Yep.
So I want to actually use his question is really good. I want to use his question to probably answer one of the Q&A as well. This one. So let me extend his question. So his question really is for everybody who might be listening late also. His question really is that if I'm not into DevOps, is this going to really help me? So remember one thing, guys. We this course is starting from very, very basics. Like if I assume you have no idea of Python, you have no idea of coding also. Forget just Python. So it is for anybody who wants to learn coding first. The reason I don't say coding is because most people get, oh, I'm not a developer. It's not about being a developer. You can be a DevOps person, you can be a QA, and there have been so many non-IT people who have done this with me, and they have gradually is the word. There is no magic pill. Like I can't tell you if you're non-IT or a fresher or somebody like a mother who's returning back to work after a break, which are all great people for me, but there is no magic pill that you do this 6 week course and there you go, you get a job. Absolutely not. So we have to be very, very clear about it. But this really helps you a lot in getting to that step closer. So yes, you can be anybody, not just data science person. Data science specifically will get a really people will get really helped by this, because data science is one place where you use Python the most. Python, R, and Scala. These are the three languages which I use mostly in AI. And again, data science is one aspect of it. So I'm just going to use AI as a term. And if you have no coding experience, or if you just know Python a little bit, that yeah, I know Python a little bit, I can work through it. But why should I learn it? ChatGPT has the code now. So for that part of the question, please stick till the end because I want to show you that demo at the end. But I hope I answered the question. Any field, not just DevOps, QA, automation, non-IT, fresher, anybody who wants to get into IT, this is perfect for you, because nowadays Python is the number one required skill. Again, it's not the only skill. You have to do other stuff as well. So, like Vinod was asking, he's already doing data science stuff. So that is actually better because now you can advance in your own career. So this is exactly why I say that learn this as a Python learning experience. The only reason the capstone project is DevOps is because most of the people that enroll through Mithun Technologies is using DevOps. But again, it doesn't mean that it is only DevOps. It's all about automation. It's all about scripting. It's all about how you use Python to achieve the task at your work. I hope I sort of answered that question, Vinod, but thanks for the question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I'll
you.
come back to this later. Yeah, go ahead, Vinod. You have a follow-up question?
No, no. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sure. No worries. So I'll come back to the questions a little later. So I'm going to skip this part. I used to do this earlier in the demos, but I have a lot more to show in demos, so I'm just going to go there. Basically, this is something I do a lot. Like I was saying, I so my simple rule of thumb is, and I ask all my students to do the same thing. Ask this question to yourself: am I doing this repetitively every day or every hour, every few hours? And that is your answer. Go ahead and automate it in Python. That is the best way to even learn Python, and it makes your life super simple. Like if I show you my laptop right now, my actual folder, I have thousands of script. Sometimes I don't even know where my script, what my script is doing, and I see an email pop up, and I'm like, so while we're on the topic, let me quickly see if I can show you something like that. So as you can see, this mail breakout, this is the one that I was talking about. That's me actually. So it is all automated every 1 hour, 8, 9 a.m. This is my time basically. I'm in US, like I said. So all it does is it keeps telling me, and as you can see, if you want, if anybody wants later, they can go into take a look on January 27. Microsoft actually broke out. So that gives me a very good example. Again, this is not a stocks class or anything like that. I'm just trying to give you an example what you can do once you learn Python. There is no relation with DevOps in that example. There is no relation with data science. There is no relation at all with anything, but just you. So beyond your job, this course gives you that flexibility that you can automate your boring tasks every day and make your life much simpler. Because that's what I do. It really helps me a lot. And that is one big aspect of it. So I'm going to skip this demo for now. And of course, these are other stuff, but for all practical purposes, we are going to be what to say, focusing on this one more because this one is more for scripting, QA people, automation, DevOps people, all in general. And that's what the Capstone project is all about. Again, who should join? As I was saying, anybody, whether you're a beginner, you're a mom returning to work, or somebody who's a career switcher, like from non-IT to IT, this is perfectly for you. And if you're a fresher, so I've had a fresher from Canada, I've had a fresher from college universities here. In fact, August or September batch, there was a person who got enrolled in Georgia Tech, which is a very prestigious university in US, for masters. And her testimony is also on my website if you want to take a look at it later. She joined right at the moment when she got in the masters of data science only, I think, program. That's when she joined our coding course, and she just loved it. She's still in the bigger group, which you will also join once you enroll and everything later. So you guys can and that is something also I should have mentioned in the beginning. That is another aspect that you join a bigger group of Python group of mine where there are other people who've already been my students. Everybody, not everybody a lot, but me mostly share a lot of Python codes and articles there. So basically, it is a chance for you to keep relevant, to keep learning new things. And then, of course, I do time to time webinars as well for those people. So it's especially for all of these. I mean, I can't find out a person who would not get benefit from this course, to be honest with you. This is not important here. Just one thing I want to highlight. This is something, don't ask me later. This is a very important Mithun Technologies rule that the content is available only for 90 days from today. So today's class will be available for the next 90 days. I wish I had any hand on it, but I do not. This is completely governed by them, so you have to deal with the admin for this. But I just wanted to highlight because Bhaskar asked me to highlight this right here. You can please ignore all this. This is for my website. And this is the one that I'm going to come back after the demo because I know you guys will have the questions. So let's start with the first demo, which is the main one. And this is the actual project which we will build step by step. Meaning, I will be showing you the code, but that day, when the time comes, when you're done with the whole course, we will go through this project step by step. Step by step, meaning, let me see, this is GoToMeeting. I'm more used to Zoom. Yeah, it works. So step by step means we'll start with number one, which is our scraper.py. As you can see, anything .py is Python, right? Then we write this. And of course, this is a bigger diagram. It doesn't capture everything. There is a big framework called pandas, which I'm sure everybody would have heard in Python. So we will be using pandas as well here. I use a lot of stuff here. It's just very difficult to put it in a picture. And then dashboard.html, which basically tells you how so I'll just give you the use case actually, then you'll understand first. But one thing I wanted to tell you, and I'm always open for it, if anybody comes and tells me during the course that Ankit, can you add this to our project? And I always see if there is any way I can do it. For example, this style.css was an ask by one of our, I think it was Mithun technology student only. He asked some time back that I am getting into blogging or vlogging, one of those. So, is there any way I can learn a little bit more on Flask? Because this whole thing is Flask and how Flask and Django work with for blogging. So that's the only reason I brought this style.css integration into this project so that he learns a bit of it. And then, of course, I helped him later as well separately. So that is another thing. Even after the course, you're always in touch with me. You can ask me questions later also. It's not like we're done with the course. You can ask me Python related, AI related, anything, because I've been doing Python and AI in my company for a very long time. And I think I should have mentioned that, but I forgot. I think in Python, I have about 15 years plus of experience, and overall C++, Java, I have done for like 20, 21 plus years of experience. And that's why when I start teaching, you will see a lot of my, not a lot, some of my references to C++ and Java. Again, that doesn't mean you have to know C++ and Java. It's just good. If you know that, then you can relate it better. That's all. So this is the layer where we finish the Python piece, and then this is the layer where we tie with the DevOps piece. DevOps again, QA automation piece. So like I said in the beginning, everybody, I'm not a DevOps person at my work by my title, I'm an architect, but I still have to do this every day. So nowadays, everybody is expected to do a minimal DevOps related work. Of course, there is Jenkins, there's so many different um, softwares, but that is separate. So I can only use some of the softwares there, and all of my softwares that I use and ask you to download are always free. So even including Kubernetes that I'm going to show you in the next 5 minutes, I'm using Minikube, which is a free utility. So I never ask you to buy any softwares, never ever. If you want to do it, it's up to you. But as long as you follow the links that we share in the WhatsApp group, so the WhatsApp group will be created once you enroll, and that's where you get the source code every day. You get the PPT if I use a PPT, and of course, the recordings will be shared by Mithun Technologies. I don't know how they do it. That is something between you and them. We'll have to figure out. But every class is recorded and every class is shared with you. So that is in a nutshell. Now, just to quickly give what is this project really going to do and how is it relevant to DevOps? So I'll give you a very simple use case, and that is a use case which I actually implemented myself at work. So I'm sure if you guys have worked somewhere, again, I think it was Vinod, like he said, in data science. This is a very common use case with in whatever sphere you have worked in, any remotely software related job. So let's say you're looking at a big log file, right? This is your big log file. Generally, the log files I'm talking about, either they are in a text format or you can even convert them and put it into the web-based format, which is simply put as HTML, right? So that this log file opens up in the browser. Now, if you look at this log file, this is generally like 10,000 lines of logs there. Nobody wants to look at so many logs, right? Including you. So you being an expert, you know, you do control F or you do whatever, and you find the exact point, and then you're done with it. And that's it. And then you either send an email to your boss or boss's boss or whoever in the company that this is what has happened out of this log. Now, this is a very good opportunity. And that's what I was saying a little bit earlier also. Take it as a free tip, basically, from somebody who's done this for years. That look at first look at your current job. rather than thinking AI is taking my job. Then look at a piece that you can enhance for better audience, for bigger audience. By bigger, I mean senior leadership, VPs, directors, beyond those people. Now, those people don't have time. If you're going to send them a huge log file and ask them, hey, go inside the log and search for this particular key, they're not going to look at it. They don't have time to even open and wait for this log to open up. So that's where there's an opportunity for you where you can sweep in. Now, take this log file. And again, when I explain this, then I'll also show you in a minute in the demo. Then you as a DevOps engineer or you as an automation engineer, go ahead and find that particular piece of code or piece of line that you want to be either displayed or to be either showcased or to be either shared. And then you can extract that. And that's what you're going to do from Scraper. Taking the example of Scraper, we'll extract the only piece of information we need, nicely bundle it using pandas. So make it beautiful. Pandas, in fact, have a inbuilt function called prettify. Pretty means beautiful, right? So prettify. So same deal basically. Make it beautiful, nice looking thing. You can put it in a CSS, or that's why this CSS here, or like a nice format table that, for example, test case one, it took this much time, ending at this much time, final count, sorry, final status, pass or fail, and so on and so forth. You can make a big table out of multiple of such log files, and then eventually you can automate it to be sent as an email. So this becomes your one end-to-end project. And this email, again, first you can start doing it with your bosses. If your boss likes it, if he finds value in it, then he may ask you to add more bigger people. Bigger, I mean his senior people. And that's how you make visibility at your work as well. So such a simple thing, but because you know Python, because you know automation, that's how you can easily do it. And like I said, propose and implement. That's my mantra, and that's how I always got ahead in my career. Propose and implement. Like when nobody was talking about AI, I was talking about AI to my boss 3 years ago, that maybe we should think about something doing it. And he said, okay, if you have something, go ahead and propose it and do it. And I implemented a prototype as well. So that's how you get advanced in your company. And that's how you use Python and AI as your friend rather than cursing it that, that's taking my job, as I see most people do that. So this is something that I'm going to demo now. The only difference is I can't use an actual log file, but again, that's very generic. So I'm going to use a website instead. And let me see, how do I clean this? Erase all. Yep. And then I'll show you what all is happening step by step. And then, like I said, I promised the final piece of demo is about the Python and AI. How do we integrate them? So this is the website that I'm going to start scraping from. So my only job is, like I said, this is the piece. I don't want all this extra stuff, all of these tables, this, but I just want this, the actual quote. Then there's another quote, then there's another quote. And I will create a nice looking table out of it, and then I will publish it. That is the, sorry for that, that is the intent. So again, this in your live project or at your work will be changed by either some lot of bunch of emails or some raw text or something from Slack or something from like I said, a log file, anything. That is the scope that you have to figure out at your own work, and that gives you the edge there. And then using that, we will put it in a CI/CD pipeline. So that's my GitHub. And then finally, we'll host it inside the Kubernetes pod as well. Since most of you might know Kubernetes or might be learning Kubernetes as part of DevOps, so you can relate more to it. Any questions so far? I know I'm running a little behind time, but I still want to give a chance if anybody has any questions. I'll just take a sip of water. All right, so let's quickly go through this. I'm not going to explain the code today. Of course, you're not going to get any understanding of the code, but I'll keep telling you what is what. So as you see, this is the first file, which is my app.py, and it is nothing but my Flask. This is all my Flask setup, which is again a very big Python framework that is used at work most of the times. So my first step is, when I have the code ready, I want to test it locally, whether it's working or not. And this is my function, main file, scraping functions, wherein I go here. So this URL will actually change with either a log file or something that you want to scrape in your example. And then rest enhancements you can do once you understand the whole code. So as you can see, I'm also using Beautiful Soup here, pandas, logging, this. Again, I go through everything in detail when we go through the course, but for now, you just have to follow along. So now I'm just going to say first run it locally, which is from my laptop. So I simply have to do this, and there you go. My website is live. You can say website or a web page, whatever you like to call, on my local host. Here it is. So there it is. This is what I was talking about. So now, as you see, if you check this code, the world as we created is the first one here, right? Then the second one, then the third one. So again, this is by a limit that you can define. I'm giving 10, so it's only scraping 10. If I give only 5, which I'll show you in a minute, it'll give you only 5 of those. So this part that you see, and this quote and this 01 and this tabular format, this is done by pandas. So I'm going to show you that in a minute, the code as well. But the point being, you integrate multiple frameworks of Python in just one simple project. And that's how you learn different frameworks at the same time. You see how combining usage of multiple frameworks can really help you in your job. So this is what I was saying. This consider this as that particular statement in your mind that you want to show your senior leadership. Now look at this versus looking at this. If you would have, or let's say looking at this one, for example. I don't know if this, yeah, this one is here. Now imagine you were sending this to your managers and saying, hey, you have to go to one, two, three, four, fifth row from the top, and you just have to look at the first text. They're not going to do that ever because they don't have that kind of time. Now it's very simple. You can simply say, or you can even highlight the row number 4 in your email, that this is on row number 4 on what I'm sharing with you. So that is how you can use this project in scripting and automation. So let's go to the next part. So that was how I showed that it is running locally. So far we saw Flask, Beautiful Soup, Request, pandas, so many frameworks working together at the same time. Beautiful Soup is a very important framework. In fact, um, this was also recommended, not recommended, asked by one of the students that, hey, Ankit, can you use Beautiful Soup? So I thought about it and I changed the project to use Beautiful Soup. Instead, I was using something else earlier. So this is how we build projects and we showcase our strength. Now, like I was saying, very important thing is testing of your code. You have to really show in a way people understand. Meaning, you can't say, hey, this is my code and I've tested it. Here is my test plan. Those days are gone now. Nobody cares about it. So, what they want to see is an actual result. So, these are the two functions I've written. Now, I only have to write the code in my test scraper.py to be showing that it is working or not. So, like I said, you install PyTest and you run it like this, and you'll see that same thing in a minute. So there you go. Because I only have 2 tests, in reality could have 10 or 20. So you will show all of those, and it clearly gives you this. Now I'm purposely going to fail one test case just to show you. So this is where it really helps the QA and automation people. And there you go. See, it not only gives you one failed, one pass, time taken, nice summary, but also it tells you where the error is at line number 9, because this is what I changed. So that is the beauty of PyTest. We don't have to write all this code, which is generating this green, red, blue, all this stuff. We don't have to do that. So that is the best part about PyTest. So let me go ahead and save it. There we go. And so that is how you showcase that my code that I am writing is actually working or not. Now, next step. So we have so far, what do we have? We have this layer finished. We have it in the XML form, HTML format, which is this. Where did it go? Oh, I stopped the server. Where I was showing the table, which is also, oh, the style.css part was very simple, like I was talking about. So what it does is, let me quickly show you. You can go here and make it very simple if you wanted to change, for example, the coloring scheme and stuff. Let me show you quickly. So for example, this color, if you want to change this color, for example, it's just very simple. H2 is HTML heading 2, and you simply go here and click here. And then let's say you wanted to do something like this, and you do that, you save it, and it changes here. It's very simple. So style.css is used for that. specifically. Again, so far, everything what we did here, this whole thing is in my laptop. This is of no use, right? Nobody can use this code. So there comes the need for DevOps. So what you can do is you can build a CI/CD pipeline, which means if you are changing any piece of code anywhere here, it will automatically trigger a pipeline and it will create new branch for you, and from there you can use it. You can put it in a Kubernetes cloud or anywhere, however you want to use it. So the first step in that case would be, and again, if you don't understand this piece, that means you don't have too much knowledge in DevOps, which is fine. This is something which also I'll briefly talk about when we get there, but very simple. The best way to do it is Dockerization, so that we create a Docker file of it. So go ahead and say docker build -t, give a name. So I give Flask Scraper and Capstone and dot. So there you go. It builds a file. If you want to see where is my Docker file, so we have to do some settings and everything, which I've already done for the demo. There's a dashboard application. There you go. 9 seconds ago. Here it is. This is the one that I just created. Flask Scraper Capstone latest. 9 seconds ago. So your Docker image is already up and running. Now the next step is you can actually quickly test it. So let's quickly test it that my image is working or not. So I'm using 5100 port. Uh, Generally for Flask 5000 is recommended if you look at the documentation, but it's totally fine. You can use anything. So let's do that. And now, and you see Docker has even given you an IP. So you can actually see this code now. So this was running from my laptop, which won't work anymore. But now it will be on Kubernetes. And you see the color has changed also. Sorry, not Kubernetes, Docker. So this is the from the image that I just created. Now using this image, I can do anything. I can load it into any clusters, for example, Kubernetes or even Helm, whatever you use at your work. But before that, what I want to do is I want to integrate it with GitHub because there are multiple reasons for it. Like I was saying in the beginning, Git sourcing and stuff, you have to showcase your projects in Git. So that is number one advantage. Second, if I make any changes, so it's a very simple setup, right? If you know Git, how to do it. And when we get here, I'll show anyways. So once you have the setup, now even making a minor change will push and rather have a new pipeline created, which will do the whole thing together. So let's quickly do that. So let me go ahead and change this simple. So there is limit 4 is simply I'm asking it to only scrape 4 instead of 5. There you go. Yeah, I did I made the change in style.css as well. So I'm going to just comment quickly. January is already gone. Feb 1 and git push origin main. So let me go and take you to my GitHub. Let's go to actions. There you go. Demo, it's building right now. It was just literally initiated. So this is all thing I'll tell you how to do it, but I'm just showing you right now. So as you can see, it is installing all the utilities of Python. So example, PyTest that I wanted. As you can see, NumPy, even though we did not use NumPy, but pandas sometimes need it as a precursor to it. Same thing with Beautiful Soup. So all of them is getting installed in my pipeline itself, and my build test actually passed. So if you guys are familiar to using Jenkins, I don't use Jenkins, and again, it's a paid tool. That's why I use the Git CI/CD, but the process remains same basically. And then finally, we are now doing what we did with the command. We're building the Docker image here so that we can push this image and we can use this image. And then finally, build this up in our cloud cluster. So the same workflow applies for everything, and both of them succeeded. And we just saw the green thing came. We don't need to go to summary. There you go. So everything worked 1 minute ago. Now we have pushed it onto my Docker image as well. Now, what have we done so far and what does this project reinforce? So far, the project reinforces all the concepts that are very relevant in today's world whenever you're working. So first thing is containerization, right? Then automation. We started with automation itself. Everything is automated, like you saw with CI/CD pipeline and making even any small changes. And most important, continuous delivery. These are all applied to any real world application, not just what I'm showing to you today. It can be applied to anything. How did we did it? So once we're going to deploy it in Kubernetes, which is the next step, we'll be able to access the full Flask dashboard in our Kubernetes cluster environment. So again, most people think Kubernetes cluster environments are expensive, and they indeed are, but there's an application called Minikube. Let me start it because this is our next step to basically bring up a Kubernetes cluster, which is what is happening right now. It's free of cost, but again, it's very limited with resources. So you have to be very careful, but it gives us enough room to practice our stuff. So far, everything is done except for containerization of my program or my project. All right, it says it's done. I'm in my default namespace. So the next step is, again, if you see, there's a deployment.yaml. If you're aware of Kubernetes, then you have an idea what I'm talking about. The replica is simply, however, how many Kubernetes pods you want. So I'm giving two, just in case one goes down, Kubernetes will quickly switch up to the another one. This is the port I was talking about, and these details we'll share later. So now we simply say kubectl apply -f and deployment.yaml. And then we simply wait for them to come. They generally come very fast. So it's container creating. And there you go. The first one is running. Second one is running as well. Now what you can do is you can actually exec into this and see if your code is properly, let's see, TC, not TC, is been properly stored in your Kubernetes pod or not. So let's go here, and there you go. All my files are here, setup.py, scraper.py, test scraper. So let's try this. Let's first try the version that I have. Python 3 dot version, sorry, dot 11 version, which is what I would have asked here, right here, right? So whatever version you give, you can see that is being installed using Docker. So right now, what I'm showing you here is my container or my Kubernetes pod, which has my code. I'm not at all relying on this code now because it's already in the Kubernetes and running as a pod in your company. I mean, imagine like that. And we're inside the pod. So let's run that test again. We should get the same result. There we go. So everything that we did in our local environment, now we can do it inside our Kubernetes pod. So Ankit, if I wanted to run my app, does anybody know Kubernetes here? Because I want to see if anybody can tell me why this error is coming. If not, that's fine. I'm just trying to see. So this is a very important moment, guys. If you're not too much familiar with Kubernetes or how the containerization work, this is not really an error. This is my fault, and I purposely did it. I cannot run the app from within the pod because that defeats the whole purpose of containerization, right? So this is very important. I'm just going to take a minute to explain this. The app is already running. It doesn't mean this error means it's already in use, doesn't mean that it is running somewhere and I'm trying to run it again. No. The app is running inside the Kubernetes pod lifecycle. The Kubernetes pod has already started it. So unlike a local development where we manually run, where I ran Python 3 app.py and then we went there, we cannot do that in production style systems like Kubernetes and stuff because they have their own life cycle, they have their own process. Now what you want to do or what you can do is we can actually SSH into them, although it's not required, but we can SSH, and as again QA person or DevOps person, we can get the logs from there. We can scale the replicas. So far we have only two. We can increase the replicas to 4 5 and stuff like that, or we can even see what are the relevant services around it. But in Kubernetes, we do not manually start the app like this. Kubernetes starts it for you. That's the main idea here that I'm trying to tell you. Now, if you want to really test it, if my code is working, because now it is in Kubernetes cluster, anybody can use it, whoever has access to it. So the best way to do it is you use port forwarding for that. If you don't know what port forwarding is, don't worry about it. Just follow along for a minute. So Kubernetes port forward, and then the pod name was T something, and then the ports that I'm using and where I want it to be forwarded. And there you go. Now you have created. Oh, thank you, Raju. He's posted something on the chat. So now we have created this particular port forwarding easily. All we have to do is now we don't need the Docker version. We'll simply say localhost and 5100. So now this particular version is not running from my laptop. As you see, my Python 3 app.py has already been stopped. This is running directly from my Kubernetes pod. And if you put your Kubernetes pod, for example, on an AC2 instance, then you can share this with anybody in your website or any local server at your company as well. And that is how we share what we found or what we scraped from this huge log file. Imagine again this log file, the same use case, into a nicely looking small table format and send it to everybody in the company, whoever is expecting. So now coming back here, how it ties back to us. So this is why your relevant Python knowledge is so important, right? We created this, we created this, we created this. All of this was in Python, right? So I know most people have that doubt in the mind. So let me first close it because otherwise Minikube is going to give me errors. Like I said, it's not a huge application in the free version, but it kind of works for me. And that should be good. So I know most of the people talk about AI all the time. So this is exactly why Python knowledge matters so much. AI models don't live in notebooks, right? They don't live in your laptops. They live inside services. And when you train those models like this, then you're easily able to containerize them and use orchestration systems like Kubernetes. That's where you people as DevOps guys, as QA folks really help solve these problems. Prompts on AI or ChatGPT do not solve these problems. Trust me. And that is why I want to now quickly take you. I know it's getting over time, but I want to show all of this to you guys. But I'll quickly take you to my second demo, which is what I've been talking about since beginning. That ChatGPT, yes, can write a lot of code, can do a lot of things for you, but it still cannot replace you in your job if you know exactly how to use it. So give me another 10 minutes and then we'll be done, and I'll be opening for Q&A because I want to show this demo as well. I'll keep this quite fast just so you guys follow along. I know it might get boring a little bit, but if you have any question, I'm taking a small water break. Please feel free to ask. Yes, Manoj, go ahead.
Just now you have shown that example, like it's a pod, you
Mhm.
have a deployed application in a particular pod. In that,
Correct.
have you, okay, in that,
Mhm.
is there any particular node we are going to define in that? Because the pod is within there in that particular node, we call it as a child nodes.
Correct.
Yeah, in that,
So that
when,
is what you're
yeah,
asking is more on the Kubernetes side. So I'm not really teaching DevOps here. I'm just trying to
yeah.
teach how we use Python with DevOps. So what you're saying is
Yeah.
more detailed into how you are launching your service in the cluster, right? And that every company is different, every project is different.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is more like a platform that I'm using as rather than I'm not teaching the platform because that will be a huge different course. And I think Mithun Technologies already does that. All right. Thanks for the question, though. So let's go back to what I was talking about. So yeah, ChatGPT, as always, can do. Let's talk about the big elephant now. Can do things for you, but Python lets you build things. AI is a tool. I always say that it's a very, very important tool. But Python is how you make use of the tool for your benefit. You automate it using Python, you scale it from there, and you integrate it into real systems, right? Using ChatGPT at work is very important, very great. I'm not of that for fashion. People say, oh, I don't want to use ChatGPT at work. This is replacing us. It's nothing like that, right? It doesn't replace your knowledge on how to code. It actually enhances it. Like if you're stuck in writing a code, you can always go and ask what is the problem with this. But if you're just good at writing prompts, and I tend to say this, but I've seen so many ads running around on Facebook and everywhere, learn chat gpt, learn prompt engineering. There is no such term as prompt engineering, to be honest with you. It's just a what is it called, marketing term Prompt engineering is what? Nothing. How you give prompts to ChatGPT, and anybody, we don't even have to be engineers for that. Anybody can do that by spending some time, maybe an hour on ChatGPT itself or Google also for that matter. So prompt engineering or prompt, I shouldn't even say that word, giving prompts to ChatGPT is not going to help you in the way you think companies want you to do it. So most people think, oh, I have access to ChatGPT now. Let me go ahead and try the prompt. Let me give it this because it's a paid version. It will give me better prompts. It will give me better answers. Nothing like that. The real reason why companies want to hire you or want you to keep the job is how you're going to use those paid versions in your job. So that is very important. And that's what I'm going to tell you in a minute, that Python so AI is the engine, like I say, the real deal. It's not going away. It is important, and that's why we embrace it. But without Python, it can't do much because what it will do, it will just be localized, contained. With Python, you can take it to the next level. So Python, like I say, is like the wheel in the cog, and AI is more like an engine. Now, when you drive a car, for example, right, you don't care how the engine is made. It's very complex. It has so many things inside engine, how the gearbox work, how this works inside a car. All you need is steering wheel, a gas pedal, and a brake, and then you go ahead and drive it and you make use of it. But imagine if that steering wheel was not there, you will not be even able to drive a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or any car for that matter. And how will you even know? It could be a very good sophisticated car. The engine might be packed with so many things. But if you don't have that easy interface to use it, which is a steering wheel, then the whole $1 million car is useless. And that is my analogy for Python and AI. So Python is that wheel, is the steering wheel for you. And you can, using Python and AI together, you can do wonders. And that's why you need to understand Python even more better, right? Because AI is great at understanding text. Remember that. This is my prompt. This is the prompt that we've been talking about. I can read it like a human when I get that prompt back from ChatGPT. But how am I going to use it for others is where the difference lies, right? So the real question is, how do you turn that understanding of that prompt response into something meaningful and useful for your project in your company? That is the main deal. So I did not spend too much time on this. I just literally created it on 26th, as you can see, 4 days back. But it's a very relevant example again. So I also run this through my company. That's different, but you guys are through Mithun Technologies. Just want to make sure. So I was talking to my team. I have 3 people in my team, Sachin and Crystal, who are my admin guys. And I was telling, hey, we need to do another demo because we were finishing the last batch. So it's the same thing like you do it in a company. You have Slack messages, you have basically all unstructured data. This is what it's called in technical terms. An email could be there, a task could be there, something could be there in a Jira. If you know what Jira is, basically your defect tracking system. A report could be generated from there. This all sums up in this very example. A file could be saved, which is what I'm going to show you, and it could be a CSV. It could be any different format of file that you want. And then of course, using this, you can do a lot of dashboard updates. So this is what companies are going to pay you for in future, not how to use ChatGPT or any LLM, but how to make a better understanding of the data that you get from ChatGPT. So that is why in what, so let me just go back here. What I'm doing now here is I'm just taking a raw example, basically some unclean text, like a regular text from your Slacks or anywhere that you see every day. Then what my Python is going to do now, feed it to AI. That is where I have this OpenAI. That's a setup. This is the only place where I had to spend some money because ChatGPT gives only one free token, and I've been testing this program in the last few days. So I think I paid like $5 or something for it. But you don't have to do it. This is just for demo. So I'm showing it to you how you can use this. So eventually, what will Python do? So of course, this is my text, right? This is my prompt. So let me go quickly first with the code, because I know some of you might be interested and might be able to follow it as well. So my input is very simple, right? So first of all, these are my um, what do you call modules, frameworks that I'm using, JSON, CSV, because I wanted it in JSON and CSV. And then this is my OpenAI token, my API basically for OpenAI. And then I am simply this line client equal to OpenAI. And again, I want to stress it a little bit more. you need to understand object-oriented programming language and Python very importantly. It might look a very simple line number 5, but it is doing a lot of things in the background. So just to give you an idea, this is reading right now your API key from the, or basically your environment variable, if you understand those. But usually this is an open API key from OpenAI, and that is what it does. All it does is it creates a connection between my program, my Python program, this program, and my chat GPT. And that is the number one step that you have to do at your work, which again, most people lack and understand that we have to supposed to do it. So coming here, this is my input, this is my raw text. Again, your Slack messages, from your meeting notes, from your email recap, from anything, from your memory, you just dump it here. It's messy and it's not like a database quality at all. So like this is what we were doing, like how we should do it. We should use Calendly, we should use Zoom. What should we use? And finally, I said, okay, we need to do a demo on January 30th. That was yesterday for me. Again, like I said, that is something separate, but just follow along with the inputs. And then, of course, the most important thing, how am I going to interact with my chat GPT? So here I'm using chat GPT. You can use any LLM. So I've created my prompt. Again, this is the most important part because, like I said, AI is my extraction engine here. You're basically instructing AI using this prompt to clearly send data back in JSON format because that's what I really want. So you basically force a schema now, and you force it as JSON only right now. Of course, you can do other stuff. This is just a demo example. And then finally, the actual API call, the goal for this demo, I should say. So this is the most important thing. And if I show you this, I know you will understand at a high level. Okay, you're just getting a response from OpenAI or ChatGPT. You're using a particular model, but how you're doing this part is very important, and that's when you learn. That's what you learn during the project, how we deal with object-oriented programming, which is very very important. And then of course, this is a structure I want to use it ultimately my output text. So if I quickly had to break down, somebody was asking earlier in my other demo, this is again my most cost effective model. That's why I want to go to 4.0 mini, not directly go to 5 or 6, 5.2. Again, input is my messages, that the messages I want to send to GPT. And uh, let's come back here. So the SDK, as you know, software development kit is the main thing basically. So here, what am I doing is, let me explain because I don't want to go too much into code detail. What I'm really doing is I'm not chatting with GPT anymore. That is the first thing you should realize. Most people think chatting with GPT, just giving it prompts and getting the response, is how you use AI. Absolutely not. No company is going to pay you for that. Why should they do that, right? They can hire anybody, not engineers, for that. Here we're talking about engineers, so we have to be very careful. So we are not chatting, but we are actually calling a model on the chat GPT, like a backend service for myself using Python. Everything is Python that you see, right? So the output text here that you see now, this will give us the exact AI response that we are getting, but as a much better format. Let's say in string or whatever format you want it. And I expect it to look, which I'm going to show you now in the demo, how it looks. But ultimately, I'm just simply converting it into JSON, and finally saving it as CSV. Again, this is also very important. This is what we discuss in detail when I teach file handling. So my point is this and the other demo also, you will be using, and again to the point what Vinod was saying, I wish I had it open. I think I closed it. The contents, that everything that you learn during the project, during the course, will be in coming and tied into pieces together, and you'll see how they work. Like this is such an important piece of code which I talk in very detail when we talk about file handling. Very important for DevOps people, very important for anybody who wants to automate anything. So this is the real deal basically. And then finally, we'll be saving it in a system as CSV, but you can use it in spreadsheets, BI tools, databases, CI/CD pipelines. You can do anything. The results are endless. So let's quickly run it. Sometimes it gives a glitch because of ChatGPT token, but let's see. No such file. What did I do? Mm. Give me 1 second, guys. Hmm. Hmm. Shouldn't do that. I might have deleted the virtual environment by mistake. Yeah, it looks like OpenAI is not involved. It's not installed here. It says, "Give me 1 second. Let me fix it." If you have any questions, feel free to ask because I'm going to answer those questions now while I fix this. I can listen to the questions or I can read it at the chat. Don't worry about it. Nobody has any questions so far? That's excellent. Yeah, Vinod, go ahead.
Yeah, Ankit, in that, can we know
Mhm.
how we are going to do that basic setup and everything you are going to explain in the
Oh,
regular
yes,
classes?
yes. Absolutely. So how it goes is first we finish the whole course, right? And then
Mhm.
we start with the project separately. Once we're done with the full course, object-oriented programming covered fully, everything done fully, the last class, then I say from tomorrow we're starting the capstone project, the project that I was showing earlier, the Flask project. And we
Mhm.
start right from very basic. I'll tell you what to install, and even I will be writing the whole code. It's not like I'm just going to show it to you or give it to you. And then we finish one full project end to end. And then if you're interested, I have multiple other projects that I can share it with you. You can go through them. I mean, I can share the source code with you guys. You can go through them. You can publish them on GitHub. You can make some, what do you say, advancements to it so that it doesn't look like everybody's using the same code basically. So of course, all of that will be done from scratch, like even how to install. And also, you brought actually a good point. Let me show you this. So, uh, oh, wait a second, where is my screen? I think I stopped my screen sharing. 1 second, just to give you an idea. So what we do is we start from the documentation itself. So like I said Flask, right? So let's say Flask documentation, because we're using Flask in this. Now I tell you how to, like first 5, 10, 15 minutes of theory, like how to go through this. Because remember, I'm using Flask today, but in your later work environment, you might be using something else. Who knows, right? And then all this Ginger setup and stuff. So I tell you how to go through uh, this documentation as well for any framework, not just for this, right? And I'm trying to show you something. Give me 1 second. Routing, for example. So there you go. So I actually start with just literally copy pasting this code. If you see, you'll see this code matches so much to this, right? So this is how I tell, this is how you create index page. And first I show you actually with a hello world page. Then we put this in comment and then we start writing our code. So I clearly tell you how we go about by any project so that tomorrow, whatever project you're running, like I said, there are zillions of frameworks, right? And if you want to see, go to this place and you should see how many projects are there. Look at that. So you could be using any framework tomorrow. And don't get me wrong, Flask is a great framework, but Django is even a better version of it. But Django is even more complicated. In fact, earlier I used to use Django only for these demos, and we used to do the project in demo. But that is very complicated. That takes a lot more time, and that is not very relevant to people because that's mostly used in web development. In fact, Instagram was built on Django and Matplotlib, both of them being Python files, essentially. Sorry, Python frameworks. So I know I answered a bit longer, but yes, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? And let me share this by the time you guys have. So I'm trying to fix this. Just give me one more minute, but I don't mind. So yeah, there are some relevant questions always. So again, like I said, it is for everybody. All you need is a willingness to learn, right? Nothing else. This is anybody with a computer and an internet connection. Nothing else you need to know. These are the times. So I'm in US, so these are US time zone. Most of you might be in India, so it's Monday to Friday for me in the night. This is my time zone. I do it at my dinner time. For you, it will be this. Again, every class is recorded. Recordings will be available for 90 days. Again, this is not my rule. This is something we have to be very clear with Method Technologies. And every day, I'll be sharing the source code. And if I use any PPT right after the class in the WhatsApp group, I think the Zoom takes a little bit of time to convert the recording. So that is the only time you would have to wait. But Raju does a very good job. He's from Mithun Technologies admin, and he will run through your, I think, G Drive or whatever it is. But he will share the recordings directly to you. But source code and PPT is shared right away after the class. And like I said, plenty assignments. You will be doing a lot of assignments with me. Please ignore this. This is not for you. Classes Monday to Friday. Yeah, so some people ask mostly how much duration. So it's very hard to say whether 5 weeks, 6 weeks, but give or take 5 to 6 weeks. But I rather say 25 to 27 classes is what you can expect. So sometimes we'll see it can be done in a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, depending on everything. And then this actually leads you to your path to basically AI. And again, don't ignore this. There is nothing, you don't have to reach to that person because you already have Raju here. All right. Any other question? Yeah, he's just posted his number. So please go ahead and talk to him. Let me delete this for now. Feel free to ask any other questions, guys. Okay, let me go back to see if I can fix that. But feel free. My ears are on you. I am ready to listen to you if you have any more question. I think I deleted my virtual environment. VNV. What is this? If somebody is wondering what I'm doing, so this is basically I don't. This is a Mac, so I can create virtual environments in this. And the benefit of that is I can use virtual environment for installing everything. That's why you were seeing that error that OpenAI is not installed because I didn't install it on my laptop, rather only in my virtual environment.
Hello,
And yep, go ahead. Who's
Ankit.
this?
I
Shrenik.
am
Mm-hmm.
Shrenik here. Yeah, so I am
Mm-hmm.
totally from a non-IT background. I don't know anything about coding and all. So
Mm-hmm.
I work basically as an analyst
Mm-hmm.
in on a ERP system. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to get into the IT field. So like
Mm-hmm.
how it can help, how your class can help me entering into IT.
Yes, so I'm glad you asked that, Shrenik. There's always at least one or two people who have this, and it's very I don't know, lack of a better word, funny that I always bring a student, and he was actually from Mithun Technologies only. His name is Satya. He's always brought up in all my demos, and he was, I think, in the original batches. I don't even know, maybe five or no, at least 10 years back. He was exactly like you, Shrenik. He was from non-IT. He had 15 years of experience back then, absolutely not related to IT at all. And he asked me the same question, and I told him one thing, which I'm going to tell you to answer your question. That first of all, it's a very good step that you're taking because I know, and again, I'm not demeaning any other sectors or anything like that, but non-IT jobs are not as much paying as IT jobs are, and that's why I really congratulate you that you at least thought of doing that. Most people even lack the courage to do that. Now, when you already taking such a big step, you should be very clear. This course or no one course is going to help you. There's no magic pill, like I was saying in the beginning, right? But the good answer, the good part is you can, and he has done it. His reviews on my website. He took, of course, it takes time. It's not something simple. And the best part is, I always help people who want to do that, even after the course, during the course. So my point is, attend. He's the one who attended every class. Nobody else has broken his record. Everybody says I'll do that, but he's the only one who's attended every class, every assignment he did. On every assignment, he asked me, Ankit, I'm going to use code optimization. On every code optimization, he asked me, Ankit, is this the right direction I'm going? And every project he asked me, Ankit, can I go beyond this? And I said, yes, do this. So my point is, like I said, treat me as your chat GPT. Chat GPT alone is not going to help you, right? You have to give prompt. So you're the one who's going to take that onus. You're the one who's going to tell me, and I'm doing all this free for everybody, not just you. That Ankit, this is my background. Start with the resume. Then I tell you, okay, these are the projects that you can do, push them in your GitHub, publish them, make your profile. That's the real answer. You will have to make your profile, and eventually, so this is his feedback for me. See, non IT to IT, and now he's an engineer in LinkedIn. But it never happened overnight. It took time.
Okay.
So answer is yes, but the onus is on you. Of course, this is take this as your first step, and then from there, I'm not saying go for more courses or do this, do that. Of course, you feel free to do that if you want to, if you're too much in a rush. But you have to build your profile, work harder towards it. And once you do, of course, you will get it into it. So give yourself like at least a good 6 months to a year, I would say, especially if you're non-IT, because you will have to do a lot more. Like I was giving examples, right? If you're like, for example, Vinod was asking. So if you're already working in an IT project, it's much easier to shine there because now you learned this language, you learned some things from Ankit. Now you can directly implement it. Like even the capstone project I was showing, and that gives you immediate visibility amongst your peers, and that gets you ahead in your career. But for somebody like you who's coming from non-IT, and that's why I'm not that guy who will say, oh yeah, yeah, you just do this course and you'll get it. I'm always giving unvarnished truth, the real deal, because I myself did the same thing for so many years, right? So I know how it works in this industry. So I'm telling you, there is no shortcut. If somebody is telling there is a shortcut, he's just bluffing with you, just wants your money. So
Okay.
be prepared to work hard, and once you work hard, of course you can achieve it. And this is like I was talking about the MS person, so she really loved the classes. I think she's given us a great Google review also. We have all 5-star Google reviews, by the way. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on that part. You can always do that later. But the point is, show up every day, and that goes to everybody. I know things happen, your work could change, so that's why the classes are recorded. But if you leave the recordings for much later, oh, I have the recording, I have 90 days, then you know what happens is the future classes start getting boring, and you start soon losing interest. This is what I've seen with these courses, and I, like I was saying, I've done like 20 or 30 of these or more of them actually. We almost run a Python batch every month and a half. So you can see I have seen a lot of people do that. But make sure you show up to the class. If you don't, then you go through the recording, do the assignments on time, talk to me, Ankit, this is where I am in my career. How can you guide me? And I'm definitely there to help you. Yeah,
Thank you.
all good questions. Go ahead. Yeah, you're welcome. If anybody else has another question, go for it. Until I think this should be fixed now. Yes, it's fixed. So just stand for 5 more. All right, there it is. And there you go. So now you can see what all I achieved in so far. I think I somehow accidentally deleted my virtual environment. That is why it is not working earlier. So what it does, it fetched a limited number of posts, the fake posts you can say, from a test API essentially, right? And sorry, from the open API, which is what I was trying to fix while we were talking through this. It automated the whole workflow. You did not, I never went to ChatGPT, as you can see. I only clicked one file run here. That's it. This is the kind of thing companies want from you. And that is the difference between using AI as a regular person and building with AI. And that's what people want. I mean, I also teach students, school kids, by the way, and you should see how smart they are. And they're already getting into this zone. So the other day I was showing something. And again, this website is just for your reference, not to be use because you guys are through Mithun Technologies, this particular one. So I was teaching kids and I was asking them, do you know Python? They said no. And then I asked, do you know ChatGPT? They said yes. And then I showed them this and they were so amazed that they will be able to control the GPT. That is the most important thing that we're doing here. And that's what do you call it? The companies are looking for engineers to do. Remember, we guys are engineers when we're talking about IT. They don't want us to be doing prompts. So again, just to summarize the whole thing, what you saw today is something very intentional because I wanted to showcase in this demo. We didn't use prompts at all. I never even went to chat GPT prompt. We didn't use any notebooks. We didn't chat with the AI. All we did was we used Python as an infrastructure. That is the main deal here that I did, right? For you to be able to use Python as that wheel in the AI car or AI engine, whatever you want to call it. And in real DevOps environments, this is how you use AI as a tool. You don't use it as a service. You rather use it as a tool and you integrate with it. That's what we did here. Then it could live inside a container as well. Again, that becomes a lot of cost situation, but that is your company has to decide. It runs behind the APIs. That's what we just did, right? And I also showed you that we deploy it using CI/CDs. Earlier, I showed you it processes real data. This was real data, like I was talking about our prep for the demo that we did just yesterday for my students. So again, AI is more like an engine. Python is more like a wheel. So let me go back to my presentation, the last page here. So see, all the raw text that you get every day, we fed it to the AI, use it as an engine. We fed it to the Python wheel, which is basically controlling it, automating it, integrating it, and finally giving us a structured output that you can share it with anybody. So that's how you can have AI fit into a QA or an automation or a DevOps or even data science, like Vinod was asking earlier, environment. It just depends what environment you are. Basically, you could be using containers, you could be using even logs to analyze using the AI. But of course, how will you do it? You will need Python for that. So imagine that could be a use case too for DevOps people, especially. This could be a big log file that you get out of your whatever DevOps process it is, right? And you feed that to the AI. So how will you do it? If you think you're going to do it on the fly by downloading it on your laptop, then putting it on the prompt, that is not going to work, right? Because all DevOps people would know by now it's all about automation. What does Jenkins do? You make a small change in the code, it generates automatically a CI/CD pipeline. You don't go and do it. So that is all being achieved by Python using AI in the backend as a service, not AI as a prompt. So again, this is not a theory course. It's a very hands-on course. It is not prompt engineering at all. I'm not going to share anything about prompt engineering because I don't even like that word. And if you're serious about DevOps or QA, automation, anything on that, then this basically will give you the edge in next 3 to 6 months, assuming you have some IT experience. If not, then keep 6 to 12 months. But this is a skill in the next 1 year you're definitely going to use and need. And whether your title says DevOps, SRE is also something which is very much in demand. I don't know if you guys know it, site reliability engineer. I was just interviewing 3 people for that. My friend in my company is a director. He wanted me to interview his candidates. So SRE people are very, very smart. They know how to use Python. They know how to use integrated with AI and stuff, or even for backend jobs, not just that. So yeah, that's pretty much about it from me. Again, AI cannot replace DevOps. AI cannot replace you. You have to make it a part of the system. That's all. And same thing with Python. And systems are always built with Python. Any enrollment related questions or the recording for this, please reach out to Mithun. He's already posted. His name is Raju. He's the admin. He's a very nice guy. I worked with him for many years. And his number is in the chat. Please reach out to him. The classes start Monday US time, which is Tuesday morning India time, which is day after tomorrow. Yeah, it's Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday in India. So yeah, day after tomorrow. So you can enroll with them, and they will put you in a WhatsApp group where you will have my direct number. We'll be in touch, and from there we can take the journey. Any questions before I wind off? Last question, maybe. Okay. If no questions, then great. It was really nice. I appreciate it again. I know it's Sunday evening, so people came out. Yeah, sorry, Vinod, you had a question. I saw you go on
No,
mute.
okay, no, okay, no, no.
Okay, no worries. Perfect. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for the time and thank you for the opportunity for me to present today. We'll talk again. Bye for now. Good night.
Thank you.